fathers to be or fathers that are having a newborn. Just be patient, be understanding. You are going to be a punching bag. You're not going to be able to control every situation, even though if you're a control freak like myself. The baby is going to basically own everything and anything you do.
Today's episode is a really special one. We are diving into something deeply personal, our labor and a postpartum story. But here's a twist. Today, you're not going to hear it from me. You're hearing it from my husband, Akshay. We always hear what labor and postpartum are like for moms, but partners go through their versions of the journey, often quietly in the background. And that journey doesn't end in the hospital. The sleepless nights, the regressions, the tiny wins, and the frustrations. They shape you both as parents and as a couple. So let's rewind to the night of April 27th. I started getting my contractions, and you started timing them immediately throughout the night. So, what was going through your mind?
First of all, thanks for having me. I'm very excited about the launch of your new podcast. It's really, really exciting to be here and chat with you as well. April 27th was, I think, a whirlwind. I think we were watching Everybody Loves Raymond in our living room, and it was me, you, and your mom on the couch. And next thing you know, you were saying you had like pains, like sharp pains in your stomach area, and I immediately was like, oh, this might be it. This must be it. This must be it. It can't be anything else. And I started, timing them throughout the night because it was funny because like I've heard it from other people before. You have this instinct when you feel like it's happening for you, and your like paternal instinct kind of kicks in. And I think that's what happened there. And I started timing it in notes, and I was like, oh, we should maybe go to the hospital. But you were very like cool and calm and collected. You're like, no, I don't think so. I think there's a ways to go. We have our gynec appointment in the morning. Let's wait until that time. And yeah, it was just such a whirlwind of emotions because I was like, oh, it's happening. But then there was some level of like calm and peace that, oh, okay, this is it for us.
But did you feel nervous at some point that it might go out of control?
No, not really, because I think it's funny because like that was the only moment I felt like I was actually in control, and that's why I timed it throughout the night. Because throughout your pregnancy, throughout the 9 months that you were pregnant, I didn't have much to do, right? It was all you. You were feeling the kicks on the baby, and you would ask me to come over and feel, and the baby would not kick, right? So it's like it felt I had no control during your pregnancy, but then when you when we go to like the ultrasound appointment or when we go to like the gynec appointment and I hear the heartbeat, then I felt like, oh, that's my connection with our daughter. And then that night I was like, oh, I can control this situation because it's my job and my focus to get you safe to the hospital, is to make sure that your contractions are on time, is to make sure that you're safe, right? Like that made me feel calm that, oh, I can now participate in helping you throughout this process, because during your pregnancy, I didn't do much, right? Because you were carrying the baby.
So, also the next, you mentioned that the hospital. So, when we went to the hospital, I was already like 4 centimeters dilated. We had two options. One was to go for a walk and for the nature to take its course, or the other one was to induce and break the water. Did you feel that we didn't have enough time to process? But you were really calm. You were calm, composed. So, how was that possible?
I didn't feel like there was not enough time to process. I felt like there was just a lot of like quick steps that happened in succession. Yeah, when we were at the gynec in the morning at like 9:30 of like April 28th, we I had a feeling when she went to check your how dilated you are that I think this is it. Even though the gynac was like, you guys are not far along or you're not far along, I just felt some reason that this is it. It's going to happen. This is what we've been waiting for. And she said, "Oh, you're 4 centimeters dilated. Might as well go to the hospital, right?" And then we went to the hospital. They gave us an option of you can walk around until your water breaks, or you can stay and we can figure out what that looks like. And we decided to stay. And I think that was the greatest decision that we could make at that moment in time because it happened very quickly, as you know, right? It just went boom, 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 boom. So it didn't give us time to think, which was, I think, good, right? It's like, it's just happening over like a course of like an hour. Multiple decisions were happening. So it was really calming that we just had to react as opposed to like make decisions and we had time for making those decisions.
Right. So, also when we talk about going into the labor room and seeing me go through the epidural, followed by the push phase of me trying to bring out the baby, and you seeing the baby. So, what was your mental state? What was going on?
During your push, I was okay because I was involved, right? I was involved in like holding your legs to make sure that you're able to push, and I was coaching you through the breathing and everything. Um, Excuse me. But during your epidural, that was really tough because they didn't ask me to leave, right? They told me to you can stay, and I stayed, and the needle was like this big. It was insane. Like I don't know how you were able to endure that, especially as you had contractions going through it. But yeah, they poked it, and then they put like freezing liquid or something in your back to numb it. Yeah, I just don't. I didn't like seeing you in pain, right? And it was really tough to see it. But it was good learning for me to go through because it was an experience that I would not have had if I didn't stay in the room. During your push phase, I didn't have that. During your push phase, I was like, "Ugh, this is exciting, right?" And I think it was like you went from 4 centimeters dilated to 5 centimeters dilated. It took you like 2 or 3 hours as our baby is in the side cooing. And then from 5 to 10, it was a matter of like 45 minutes to an hour. They said that you should stay for the long haul. It's gonna be like a midnight or a 2 a.m. baby, and it turned out she just came out. She's like, I'm excited to come out. So I was again. We didn't have time to think. Just gotta go into action, and like that was the saving grace in my opinion.
Right. So for a dad to be, or for a person or a couple who's expecting the first baby, what would you what advice would you give them, especially the father or the man who's going to be with the baby or like who's going to be in the labor ward with the wife? So how can they support the wife through the process?
Yeah, I'll give two advice. I know one you didn't ask for, but like during the pregnancy, I would also say that during the pregnancy, try to be as present in every appointment. And I think that's something that really helped us because as you went through like each of your trimesters, it was a lot tougher for you to kind of retain information because you're focusing on a lot of stuff. So having that helping hand was like, I think was very helpful for you. It was also helpful for me to know like what was needed. For example, in your case, your blood level, your blood sugar level, and your blood pressure was low, right? So that means you needed more iron, and your iron levels were low too. So you needed more iron. You needed to make sure all that stuff was there. So like having someone monitor that for you and be able to like not have you think about it and you only think about the pregnancy was, I think, something that everyone should do, every like significant other. During the labor ward, yeah, just making sure. I think we were trying to be very loose, right? Like right before we made the decision to get your water to like forcefully broken, as opposed to natural breaking. We were like in the hospital cafeteria, we had some like we were eating food, we were
yeah,
just having a good time,
yeah,
right? And I think making sure that for you, it was a very like low chill environment, good vibes. So you're not thinking about, you know, what's going to happen next in terms of your labor process was what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to just make sure you were relaxed, you know, you were having a good time because this is such a like a momentous occasion in our life,
right.
and it's never like I just wanted to make sure that we relish it as opposed to thinking about, oh my god, what's happening. Like that's one thing that I would say, like just if we're able to keep the room very chill, stress free. Postpartum is different. The postpartum ward was not stress free, but at least our labor ward was.
Right. Yeah, that's a very valid point. Also, that night, like you mentioned, the postpartum ward, so there wasn't enough space. At the same time, I was healing from the physical pain, the stitches. But you immediately jumped into the daddy duties of swaddling her, changing her diaper, rocking her. And throughout the night, it was pretty much sleepless night for us. But what motivated you to like jump into the daddy duties right away?
Again, I think it was just like a paternal instinct where I was like, I also wanted to do it, right? Like, I've never changed a diaper. Although I have a nephew, I've never changed a diaper. And she's like, this is my own daughter. So I wanted to change her diaper, and seeing that black tar poo for the
Right.
first time, I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I wanted to change her diaper. I wanted to learn everything because ultimately, again, our job as like significant others, um, who's not delivering the baby, is to make sure we're supporting as best as we could. And as you mentioned, you were in no capacity to like, you know,
Right.
get up, do the diaper duties, doing all that stuff, right? So you had to focus on the feeding. That too was a challenge, right?
Right.
And we had a semi-private room, even though we requested a private and paid for a private. And and there was a lot of like external like environmental factors. It was just too busy. It was hot. So the best thing I can do again was to make sure that it was a stress-free environment for you, which means to for me to take ownership of like those types of duties, and at the same time you're rested, right? And I do appreciate you doing something for me. Was there was this one like chair in the corner for me to stay and sleep because you had to be there for 24 hours. You were like, no, you come on the bed with me, and I enjoyed that. It was like just us in the bed, and she was sleeping, and then she wakes up for her midnight feed, and you know, learn about like colostrum, and you learn about
Right.
a bunch of new stuff, and it's crazy. Like you walk in, it's just us two, and then we leave with the third
Third,
with
yeah.
no manual,
Right.
and everything that they taught you or showed, I guess, did for you in the hospital, like it doesn't carry forward. You have to
Right.
relearn it. So
Right.
yeah, but yeah, that would be my kind of like two advice, right? Like first, during your pregnancy, be as present for your wife as much as you can, or your significant other as much as you can. And during the labor or in postpartum, just like be be present. Like that's the best I can say, right? Like just be present. You're gonna make mistakes. Like I conked her head the first first 2 hours of her being born.
It's a learning, pretty much. We were
Yeah,
learning with her.
yeah.
So that brings me to the next phase. Like we are home, but then I was going through a postpartum phase, which took a toll on my emotional state. And there were days you tried your best to make me feel better, but nothing actually helped. So, did you ever feel that, that did you feel helpless at some point?
To be honest, transparent, yeah, I did. I felt like I didn't like helpless in the sense like I felt like I had again, you know me, I'm like I need to control. I'm a control freak. I need to control situations. And that's why during the pregnancy I couldn't control anything. And I lashed on every detail that I could control, like the contractions and stuff like that. And then during a postpartum, I couldn't control, like, control is a bad word in that sense, but like I couldn't make you feel better. And I, I felt everything that I was saying was incorrect. Right, your first 2 weeks, it didn't hit. Your postpartum didn't hit until like I think week 3,
Week 3, yeah.
and then it got like progressively worse. Right, and we had like a lot of our fights during that time, and we're taking care of babies, so it was like heightened emotions, especially for you. And then it got to a point where I think I figured out that it's a phase. She's not gonna like react to my unsolicited advice on how she should feel positively. That's my bad. I should have realized that. And also, like, who am I? And I think I told you this. Like, who am I to give you advice on pregnancy
Right.
and how you should feel, right? You're in pain. You're uncomfortable, right? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a phone call when I was driving back from work where I just shared my personal history
Right.
of like, how I felt during COVID and all that stuff that helped like resonate with you. It wasn't advice. It was more just my account
Experience.
of how I felt and what I did. And I think that's all anyone can do, like a significant other, is just put yourself in the shoes of your significant other and try to draw up experiences, because more often than not, it might not be the exact same experience, but you're able to leverage some of the experiences that you had to be able to, provide context and provide some level of comfort that we're all in this together, right?
Right.
So that's I think the most important thing that I learned from that experience. And obviously, there's always ups and downs. Like it's just inevitable to happen. But you just have to have that rooted as like your foundation to be like, we're all in this together, and we're all pushing forward into this.
Right. So, based on your own experience, how can a new dad or being a husband can support and help the wife who's going through the postpartum phase? What not to do? Because you just told me what can be done based on your experience, but what they shouldn't be doing, which would trigger the wife who's already going through a roller coaster of emotions. So, yeah, she doesn't want to hear what she needs to be done.
Yeah. You said it. Like, just don't say definitives. It's like, you should feel this. You should not worry about this, right? There's a lot of like external family stuff that happen. Family get excited and stuff like that. And I remember telling you, don't care about what other people do and think. And then, yeah, it's like, you shouldn't work in definitives. You should present a ear, right? That's the best thing you can do. You just gotta listen, soak it all in, and again, if you want to provide guidance, right? I don't want to say guidance, but like words to make you feel better, because that's what any significant other wants. Because they don't want to see you go through postpartum, they want to make sure you feel better. You would want to, present it in a way where you're sharing your own experience. That's the best way to do it. You can't be like, hey, feel better. Like, we have a baby. Yeah. I didn't say that, but like, you can't do that, right?
Right.
You can't be like, hey, I know she initially she would never come to you because she would always cry to you. And what I used to say, it's she's so cute. It's because she feels the most vulnerable with you, right? At that moment, you're like, that's friggin' BS. Like, why isn't she coming to me? I'm her
Right.
mom, right? And I should have validated that, as opposed to saying like, don't worry about it, right? Down the road, like now, she's only going to come to you,
Right.
right? But I should have validated it and be a lot more, you know, understanding of what you're going through, as opposed to being like, don't worry about it, like it shouldn't bother you. But it does, right? Like I get it, I understand it now in hindsight. And yeah, like for any fathers to be or fathers that are having a newborn, just be patient, be understanding. You are going to be a punching bag. Just got to take it, absorb it. But at the same time, your partners want to also hear you express your emotion, because like postpartum works both ways. It's more important for the mother, absolutely, but it works both ways. So you should take advantage of being able to speak to your significant other as well, right? And be like, hey, this is how I feel. More often than not, that's also very disarming, because when I opened up to Axe, she was also very like, oh, that makes me feel better. That means we're both are into this together, right? Living in the misery together, feeling bad together makes everyone feel good, right? So
Also, what actually helped me was when a baby is born, especially I would say the South Asian community, a family gets involved. So for a mom who's already going through a lot
yeah,
emotionally, even if it's like a normal sentence, it gets magnified. So you helped me in a way where you shielded me. You ensured that those politics or the drama, I didn't get to hear any of those.
yeah. I completely forgot about that. But
So that helped me.
But that's just, yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing that, because like that is exactly why. So like my personality is rooted in, it's like something happens, just whatever, shrug it off and kind of move past it, right? Like I'm not a reflective person. I'm just more, it happened, just move on, right? It's how I deal with this situation as well. You're a very reflective person, right? You're way more reflective than me. You reflect on everything.
Right.
It's like, why did they do this? Why did they do
Yeah,
that?
I
For
churn,
me,
keep churning.
keep churning. Like, why is this? Why is that? For me, it's like they did it. Who cares? Forget it, and then move on, right? Like, and I think it helped in certain ways, and it didn't help in other ways. But it definitely helped here, like you to your point, where it's easy for me to like take comments like from our family and like our community, and just shrug it off. Like I don't, like it doesn't matter to me, right?
Right.
I'm not reflective. I don't care what someone says about what we do with the baby, or it just doesn't matter. So it helped. It was like not even a burden to do that.
Right. Right. Yeah. So fast forward to like few months, we're going to talk about sleep regression, which we are going through right now currently. First few months, we did face the newborn phase was a little challenging, but still it was manageable. But when she turned 4 months, is when the regression started. Where we tried rocking her, we tried bouncing her, and it was 2 a.m. It was exhausting. How did you handle that? Because the next morning you had work. So how did you balance between being present as a dad at that moment? I would say 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And then functioning the next morning.
I mean, like it was not just me. It was like we both were in it together, right? And I think that's what pushed me forward, because we were able to take turns, right? Like if it was one person doing it, and there has been nights where you've done it, right? Like there has been where it's like I just can't get up, I'm just so tired, and which is why it's like amazing that you were able to do it. But when during sleep regression, which is actually happening now for us, it's just having two people being able to work on this kind of problem together, I guess, or development phase for her together. It just allows me to have comfort that if it doesn't work for me, Axe has it. And I think it's the same for you. It's like, if it doesn't work for me, AK has it. And we're just a team in that sense, right? And yeah, it's like, it's tough. Like, if I don't have a solution, you come up with a solution, right? If you don't have a solution, then I try to come up with a solution. And I think that's what allows us to move forward, right? We're extremely blessed that we both are very involved and care to help each other and help our baby. Because if it wasn't for that, it would be like really tough. Right?
There were days it was emotionally challenging where I felt like giving up, but then you were supportive. And there were days where you felt like giving up, was taking a toll, and I chipped in.
Exactly.
So
like you come in and it's just giving each other words of encouragement. It's like, look, AKA, or look, Axe, you got this. Don't worry about it. And then I think there's reason why there's a mom and a dad. Right. Or there's a reason why there's two parents. Right. Because it's really hard to do it alone.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you always have help.
Right.
There's a reason why your parents, came and helped out for a few months. There's a reason why, like, my parents also come out. Like, it's just really, really good to have help, right? In doses, and then it's really good for us to have that break to recharge, so we can go back and spend the time with our child, right?
Right. So, if there's one thing which you could have done it differently, be it any phase, being the pregnancy phase or the labor phase, or even now what we're going through, the sleep regression. So if there's one thing which you could have done it differently, what would that be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
More so if you say labor, is there anything which you feel that you could have done it differently, or you felt that whatever you've done was a learning?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, differently, it's tough to say because hindsight is so 2020.
Right.
And I don't know if I would be doing it differently because, like, there are certain things that I've done which I'm not proud of. Like, sometimes I feel extremely frustrated and I'm like, go to sleep.
Yeah.
Do that. Come on.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, like, it's like you get frustrated. But then if that didn't happen, then I wouldn't have reset myself, right? Like, it's like, oh shoot, I can't do that. I gotta like she's a baby. Like,
right.
There's no point of me being frustrated at a baby. Like, it makes no sense. So it's like it allows you to reset. So I don't know if I would change anything. I think what I would have possibly done, and someone actually gave me a really, really good advice, is like, you can't prepare for having a kid, which actually made my mindset completely different as a result of that. Because I'm not looking at, there was a sequence of items that we have to do for our child. And if it doesn't work, then it becomes even more stressful. It's like every child is different, their development is different, and being comfortable in the unknown is, someone told me very early on, allowed me to kind of be in that mindset, because not being able to control is like an issue of mine, right? Like, and I think if I didn't have that advice, and I'm giving it to all this advice to all expecting fathers or fathers to be, you're not going to be able to control every situation, even though if you're a control freak like myself. The baby is going to basically own everything and anything you do, right? So, and someone gave me that advice, is like, be comfortable not knowing and kind of learning.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have that, then I would have had a much harder time adjusting. But I just came in with like a completely open mind, like anything can happen. And it did. Like, she's just growing at like her pace, right? So it's nice. No.
So for parents who's going through the sleep regression phase, based on your experience, what to expect or how would they cope with it? What helped you or what is helping you?
I think that's still to be determined. I'll even figure that out. I think last couple nights we've had some decent night's sleep. Having giving her a bath, right, has helped her. Nice warm bath, it relaxes her, and then obviously doing like a deep feed before putting her to sleep. But she's also kind of like she also has a growth spurt, so she feeds a lot off more often, and she's also like early onsets of teething as well. So she's teething. She's got a growth spurt. She has sleep regression.
Right, you name it, and she has.
So it's like, yeah, it's all at once, right? So you don't know at what point in time she's feeling uncomfortable, which is why, like, sometimes, even at night, it's so hard because you're so tired. You get up, you just gotta like reset. And I don't know if you noticed this, but now whatever I do, whenever I'm at night and you wake me up, I just wait for a couple seconds to reset and then get up and then
Right.
go tend to her, or like come over and tend to you both. Because if I just get up, it's like I'm so sleep deprived. I haven't reset, and my emotions get like my frustrations can't get over me. So like it's just being able to just, once you get up, you have to help your significant other and your baby. But if you just have to take that second, take a deep breath, breathe in, breathe out, and then get up and do it. Because it's better to have like a clear mind when you're doing that, especially at night, because you're at like your worst emotional state at night.
Right, yeah. Also, with respect to chores, you pretty much help me out. There are days where you cook. There are days
She
it's
wants
a
to be
baby.
part.
It's a
She wants.
baby,
She wants to
the-
be part of the
yeah.
podcast. She loves. She loves the. She wants
The
to follow in
attention.
mom's footsteps.
Yeah, so with respect to the chores, there are days where I was exhausted, I had no energy. You chipped in and you cooked and you did the laundry. So, how can partners help each other in a ways? So, for example, there are things which you did. So, do you think dividing the chores will help them?
Yeah. Yeah. I think having, and we don't do this, by the way. We should do it. But having a shared calendar, having a list of chores that needs to be done on the daily basis, dividing and conquer, who has the baby when. We also have a dog, so like who walks when, right? I think it's like, it's fluid, but it also has to be structured. And we didn't do that.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, we still don't
We
really.
planned, but we didn't.
Yeah, still don't do it. But I think we mentally kind of understand our division of labor, right? And it might not be the same. It might not be the same. She's telling us to wrap up the podcast.
Yeah.
It's 4:00. She's like, I'm tired. Feed me. But like having an understanding of like what your partner is doing. So when I'm working, that like I'm in a meeting, I'm not able to be able to do chores even though you want me to do it, right? But you tend to the baby or you try to help out or you put her to sleep or do whatever, right? And then I know when you're with the baby and you're feeding, I got to pick up because I have some time, right? Like I got to go do the laundry or do the dishes or cook. Sometimes I got to cook in the morning because you used to do this, and I don't know how you did it, but you used to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to like take a shower, take a bath, and cook, and then do the laundry in the morning, and then set everything up for her and me. And I'm like, it's insane. It's the
Right.
days whenever I go into work,
Yeah.
and now you don't do that because
I gave
now
up.
now it's like, okay, we got preset times that we got to do stuff. It doesn't matter what we do, but it just has to be something useful for us to like move our chore list forward, right?
Right.
And I think that's very important.
So that pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. So thank you, AK. And having this conversation about labor and postpartum through AK's voice makes me understand and realize that women go through it, but partners equally go through them as well in their own way. So I hope the dads to be or the new dads who are watching this episode, they it's pretty much a space for them to feel seen, to be heard, and to be understood. And the wives or the who are currently pregnant or who are the new mom in their postpartum phase or sailing through the sleep regression phase, I hope sharing this episode with your partner or your husband helps them feel seen and such that they don't feel alone. And thank you for watching this episode. And every phase, be it difficult, challenging, end of the day, it becomes a narrative, it becomes a story that we can just share. So, see you next time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for patiently watching. And thank you so much. See you soon.
Like and subscribe.
See you soon. Thank you.
Bye.